And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys, hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Guys, still in the international break, still getting there. We are at the start of a new week though, so we are on the sort of build up to, of course, getting back underway for domestic action again. Of course, the international break always does feel like a very, very long time, doesn't it? Obviously, players away, but also very interestingly, players, of course, getting some extra time on the training park with new manager Felipe Clement. So really excited to see if, one, the fitness levels do go up, which I'm expecting to do so massively after reports revealed that, but also if there's any sort of tactical tweaks, if we look a lot better as a team going into this really, really crucial festive period that, of course, is coming up. You know what the festive period is like. We've got 2 Europa League games. We've got games at Tynecastle, we've got games at Easter Road, games at Celtic Park, we've got games at, obviously, Pataudry, we've got a cup final, so such an intense period of matches between now, or between this weekend and, of course, sort of January 2nd. So yeah, very, very imperative that we do have those fitness levels up and we do get, or Felipe Clement gets his ideas across to the players even more so. Whilst we haven't got any sort of team news as such today, and whilst we haven't got anything with regards to things coming out of Ibrox as such, there has been sort of highly respected individuals within the sort of media speak about Rangers, and there's also been things with regards to Ryan Kent. So we're going to be discussing them in today's video. But let's start with Kenny Dalglish. Kenny Dalglish, of course, a well-respected man within the football sphere, if you like. I know a Celtic player. Obviously, he went on to do well for Liverpool. But he's came out and spoke about Rangers. He's dedicated his Sunday Post column to Rangers and spoke about their sort of transfers and something that they can't make mistakes about going forward. So let's go through what he has said. He said, looking at where Rangers are right now, it's clear the signings have not been good enough. They need to recruit better and spend their money more wisely. They also need to move players on at the optimum moment. You can't be knocking back serious bids for players with a year left on their contract. Lessons need to be learned from how they handled the situations with Ryan Kent and Alfredo Morelos. But who has been making decisions in the past few windows about who comes in, where goes? There has never been enough clarity on that. Felipe Clement is now the manager, and that appears to be a willingness from him and the hierarchy to bring in a sporting director. I would say that it is a logical move, and there needs to be conversations about clear lines of responsibility about who's in charge of that. That should take the club to a healthier direction on and off the park, but it still doesn't guarantee anything. There is still much work to be done at Rangers, and that is clear and obvious to all. But the early signs under Felipe are encouraging for them. However, the Ibrox chairman and his boardroom colleagues need to find a way to make sure there is an all-round improvement. Rangers released their annual accounts last week, and there was a clear message from the chairman, John Bennett, and he said there is a definitive room for improvement in many areas of the football club, and player trading was a paramount of importance. But there is never anything guaranteed with how you go about your business in the transfer market. Whether it is bringing in players or moving them on, every football club wants to excel at this, so this is not an exclusive to Rangers. End of year accounts are important, but the best balance sheet you can have is the one out on the pit. So yeah, that's what Kenny Dalglish had to say with regards to Rangers sort of transfer recruitment in the past, and sort of lauded, I suppose, Felipe Clement and his start at Rangers so far. He also touched upon the sort of director of football role, and as I stated in a previous video, we are expecting an announcement as soon as the Scottish Premiership football returns. Obviously, Rangers board have been away having talks with regards to potential candidates over this international break, and as I said, from an exclusive, we did hear that a director of football will be announced sort of imminently when Scottish Premiership does return. They will be ready to announce it. So here's a direction we're taking, and as I said, that is a very, very important role to have at the football club. We can't have a sort of manager. Well, I don't mind managers making some of the decisions, but there has to be an essence of strategy with regards to the player trading, with regards to the sort of transfers going forward. We've had some success, but not a lot of success. It's something that needs to be ironed out going forward. But that's what Kenny Dalglish said with regards to that. Now, moving on to Ryan Kent. Now, Ryan Kent has been a bit of a topic of discussion within the Rangers space over the last sort of last week, I would say, as it was sort of reported that Rangers, by very reputable Turkish sources, that Rangers and an English club were interested in taking the player out on loan this January. And there has been more news come out for this now, of course, after his woes basically continue, and that is stating that, of course, Ryan Kent has been given the green light for an exit this January and would be willing to listen to loan offers for the player. It also says as well that they're looking to try and get Jota as the replacement, of course, the one that played for Celtic. And yeah, looking to get rid of Ryan Kent as soon as January. That's not very good viewing for Ryan Kent. And of course, as I said, look, sources are stating that Rangers are monitoring the situation and would bring him in on loan. Now, having said that, I've said it in a recent video as well that I wouldn't be for Ryan Kent coming back on a short-term basis. People, as I said, would like to see him come back, but I think he hasn't got it anymore. I mean, he's gone to a new club and stunk the place out, and arguably the Turkish Super League isn't that hard to make an impact in. I know English and Scottish players have maybe struggled there in years gone by, and the culture of the country and stuff like that, but he's not been good enough since 2022 in terms of the actual Europa League run there in a few games. But even that, I always feel that we should always be looking forward as a football club, and I'm not really looking for stopgaps as such in terms of having a player plug the gaps for 6 months and then having to replace them again in the summer. Some would point to the thing that Rangers haven't really got the dosh to spend this January, so bringing in a player of that calibre on a sort of risk-free move would make sense. And then some other fans are pointing to the idea that Felipe Clement could obviously maybe get the best out of the player. However, I don't know. I'm just not really on the subject of bringing players back as such. And as I said, he kind of had his chance for me. And I always think that we should be looking for the future, not for the sort of short-term gains. However, as I said, reports are stating that Rangers are very much interested. And this is the latest news in regards to Ryan Kent. That, of course, Turkish sources are saying that a green light has now been officially made, and Ryan Kent will be allowed to leave Fenerbahce on loan in January as they eye up a Jota swoop. So very interesting stuff with regards to that. I know fan base is sort of split. I did in the recent video there that some fans were saying yes, we want him, fans saying no, they don't want them. But at this moment in time, I'm always sort of under the impression that we should always be looking forward and not going backwards and not trying to make stopgaps. Let's try and find a young player who's going to go on, play for 2-3 years and then be sold for X amount, rather than going back for a player for 6 months that didn't really perform. So yeah. But Rangers fans, that's all I've really got for you today. Do let me know your thoughts with regards to what Kenny Dalglish said. Let me know your thoughts with regards to the sort of imminent director of football change coming up soon. And let me know your thoughts on Ryan Kent. Would you take him on a 6-month loan? Yes or no? Let me know down there in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video. As always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.